What's going on, guys? Today we're going to go over my 1977 GMC K15 and everything that I've done to it over the past 10 years. We're going to do a quick walk around of the truck and everything that I've done to it over the past few years. We'll start with the suspension. The suspension's all new, front and rear. The leaf springs are new, the shock absorbers are new. I stuck with the factory rear leaf springs with blocks in the rear, so if you come around to the back here, nothing fancy, just rock auto lift. It's a 4-inch lift kit, so there's the blocks in the rear. Again, those are factory leaf springs. Those are from LMC truck. The shock absorbers, it's got the quad shock, so 2 in the rear, 2 in the front on each side. Those are Pro Comp shock absorbers, and in the front, those are the upgraded leaf springs. Those are the ones that give it a little bit of a lift. So the fronts, like I said, I put this lift on probably, I want to say like 6 or 7 years ago, and I haven't had a single issue. The tires it sits on are 35 by 12.5 by 15. They're American Racing wheels. I picked them up about 10 years ago off Facebook Marketplace, sanded them down, I coated them. They could use some work, but they look good from about 10 feet away, so good enough for me. Just going through the truck, the fuel system's completely redone. Brand new fuel tank. I put in brand new fuel lines, so I have rubber lines coming off of the fuel tank itself, off the sender unit, which is also new. And then they're going to hard aluminum lines for both the return and the feed, going up to a brand new fuel pump. I stuck with the mechanical fuel pump just for reliability's sake. Coming around this side over here, I don't know where we're going. We recently took the bed off, and one of the things that we did was we fixed all the rust. This truck has spent its entire life, 40 plus years, outside. It has never been in the garage, and surprisingly, there was very little rust on the frame, but the bed, just like every step side, had some rot. So we actually cut out all of the metal through here, and we patched in new metal, and whatever we couldn't fill gap-wise, we were able to use essentially a reinforced Bondo. We tried to not use too much Bondo just to try to keep it as clean as possible, but it came out pretty good. I do have a whole nother spare bed for this, but until I'm ready to paint this truck, I'm just going to try to preserve that one the best that I can. Along with the fuel system, the brake system's all new. So the rears, the drums, I haven't touched, but all the brake lines are all stainless hard lines. The fronts are flexible stainless, so there's not any rubber brake lines on this anymore. New master cylinder, again, the hardened lines coming up to the master cylinder. And then down below, it's going to be hard to see in the video, but there's the proportioning valve. That's all brand new as well. I got that from LMC truck as well. I think the best thing that I've done to this truck in the past 3 years was completely redoing the wiring. So the wiring is from Painless Performance. I have it all in nice wire loom here. This is a fancy wire loom from Amazon. Actually worked very well. They have a ton of different sizes. Highly recommend it. It's all plug and play for the most part. Where it got tricky was when I got into the interior. I decided not to go with the factory cluster just because there's a whole lot of issues. They have that little printed circuit board in the back of them, and I wanted to modernize the truck while still giving it that classic look. One day I basically got home and decided to tear this thing apart. I got tired of the way the engine bay looked. Wouldn't open it at car shows. You know, everyone else has their hood open, so I wanted to be able to do that. So we pulled the motor out, completely stripped everything down paint-wise. We took the motor completely apart. We didn't get too crazy with the motor. It's all stock internals, all original. It's a 400 6.6 small block Chevy. All new accessories, water pump, fuel pump, power steering pump. We put all new seals in the engine, painted it, of course. The only thing that we really changed from the actual engine itself is the intake manifold and the rocker covers. That was about it. That carburetor's been on there for about 10 years now. It's a Edelbrock 1406. I think it's a 600 CFM carburetor. In hindsight, I kind of wish I had painted the engine to match the truck's blue. Might still do that in the future, but it is what it is. All right, let's go to the inside here real quick. All new interior, so the carpet's brand new. The seat is from, I think, 1990. I think my dad had this wrapped back then, so that's all original. The side panels, those are new. The cluster's all new. The dash pad's brand new. All of the interior was actually from LMC truck. So we'll climb up on in. So if you want to go around to the other side, or not. Let's climb up in here, grab my keys. So this cluster that's in here is from NVU, New Vintage USA. And you can see it still has that old school look, but it's more modern. There's a lot more technology in it, and it's all plug and play rather than having a circuit breaker, or not a circuit breaker, sorry, a circuit board in the back like these do from the factory. It's got nice blue lighting. Not sure if you guys can see it or not in the video. So the other thing that we added was this radio here. Again, trying to keep it as old school as looking, as old school as possible. This is from Retro Sound. It's a Bluetooth radio made to look like a factory install. So like I said, the interior is all new. Nothing in here that hasn't been gone through. The dash pad was cracked. I had a cover over at first. I didn't really like the way that it looked. It looked kind of cheap. You had to use an adhesive of sorts, and it always lifted up. So I spent the money, got a factory dash pad for this. I do have the vents blocked off currently. I took out the AC and the heat. I didn't feel like putting the money into the heat or the air conditioning. The air conditioning has not worked in this truck for as long as I can remember. And I don't drive this thing in the wintertime, so by the time it gets cold enough to where you want heat, I don't really have a use for it. So right now it's all blocked off. If I wanted to, I might put in an electronic heater. I've seen them on jegs. That way you're not worrying about a heater core up front. If you're familiar with these trucks, that environmental box down here, it's massive. It takes up so much room, and it's just nice to have that extra room up there. I also have my amp up here as well for the sound system. I'll show you guys that in a second. We'll show them now. So in the back here, I believe it's 8-inch subs, tweeters on top. Again, this is from Retro, the same people that make the radio. It's plug and play with the amp. Sound system sounds great in this truck. Yeah, not really too much else to talk about in this truck. I was able to change out all the locks on the truck so I could finally lock it, including the glove box, which is kind of a plus. Probably one of my favorite upgrades to this thing since we put it back together is these cup holders. This is an Amazon special. It just fits right into the factory ashtray. I think it was like 20 bucks. It's metal. Fits in there perfectly. It fits fairly large drinks in there. It does block your cigarette port back here, which is used for USB now. I don't know if you showed them or not, but I did install a USB charger. And what's cool about it, right here, if you lift this up, those are your two USB-A ports right there. But if you do this, it also shows you the voltage. Not that you need it, because I get that on the gauges, but I don't know, it's kind of a
Amazon watch.
Yeah, my Amazon watch. Let's cycle through the gauge here real quick, just kind of show you guys. So with these gauges, it has two little buttons down here, one for the tach, one for the speedometer, and you can cycle through different settings on these gauges. It's really cool. Peak mile per hour, 187. I don't know that that's accurate. 12.2 volts. You can time yourself, eighth mile, quarter mile, 0 to 60, all of which this truck is not doing. Not sure what this one is. I haven't really read up too much on these gauges. I probably should. Peak RPM, again, that's not accurate. And then you're back to your voltage. I tend to just keep this one on the mileage and then this one on my voltage. Again, over here we have temperature gauge, fuel gauge. All these gauges are very accurate. They're all brand new. All the sending units are new as well. The voltage is accurate. Oil pressure gauge, this is the only gauge that had an issue from when I put it in. It was all sporadic. It would go up and peg and try to spin around. I contacted New Vintage USA, and they were super helpful, and they overnighted a brand new gauge to me. So I haven't had an issue since with any of these gauges. The Speedometer is off about 5 miles an hour because of the tires. I don't know that I can correct that with these gauges. I don't think they're that smart. The other thing that I added was wiper blades. We talked about that. So I got rid of the factory switch in here. They're a little funky, if you know what I'm talking about. They're that 2-speed switch. They fall apart. I put a brand new switch in there, and within like 2 uses, it fell apart. So I put in the one that they provided with the kit, and I'm not gonna turn it on now, but it's just single, and that's high. So probably just scratching the crap out of my window, but brand new steering wheel as well from LMC Truck. I opted for this color combo. I liked the wood, and I wanted to keep the black interior look going. I'm not a big fan of chrome. I like little touches of chrome here and there like you see on the cluster, but when everything's overdone with chrome, I think it's a little bit much. So not to mention too, when you're driving down the road, you don't want a chrome steering wheel blinding you. So I went with the black. I think it looks pretty cool. The horn does not work currently. Yeah, so that's the steering wheel. The best addition to this truck is its mini truck. So coincidentally, the tractor in the back, as you guys seen, is almost the same color as the truck. We're gonna be going over that thing in another video. I threw it in the back for a show that we went to. So make sure you guys stick around. We're gonna go through all of our other projects, as well as go through anything else you guys wanna see on this truck. Appreciate you guys watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.